Welcome to another bonus episode of Timm Talk, the podcast, occasionally about the DC animated
Every once
universe.
in a while.
Bruce Timm's animated universe. We are picking up where we left off last week and finishing out our 2018 year in review. The conversation got so long that Cameron had the great idea, which is brilliant and great, the great idea.
Thank you.
To split it up into two pieces.
I only give the greatest ideas we can.
Greatest ideas possible.
Mm-hmm.
So this time we're going to be talking about our top 5 films of the year plus honorable mentions.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it.
I think, yeah.
There's some therapy thrown in there too, basically.
Yeah, it's a nice long episode.
Yeah,
you're getting to know us on a very personal level.
Very personal level. It's a big great time had by all. But yes, we leave you now to join a recording already in progress.
Yes.
But yes, I'm curious, how many of your favorite comic book movies?
Only one.
Really? Made
Yeah.
into your top 5?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So for you, number 5.
So mine are not in any specific order. I couldn't get myself to organize these in a top 5. So it's just
Cameron.
Overall 5.
Okay. I mean, mine actually is basically numbered, but all right.
Okay. Well, give me 2 seconds now. I'll put mine in order. Okay. Got my order. So number 5 for me was a movie called Searching.
Okay.
Which I don't think you ever saw, did
I
you?
never saw it. You said it was great.
Yes.
But it just didn't really interest me. But
It-
remind us all.
Searching is Jonathan
John Cho?
John Cho. Yeah, okay.
AKA Sulu.
Yes. It is him hunting for his daughter who's gone missing. But kind of the interesting perspective of the movie is everything is done from the perspective of a screen.
Okay.
So either he's FaceTiming, he's on his computer, and you see the browser kind of moving around. Those are kind of the main two. And it was just such a unique storytelling device that I really... It starts off being a little annoying at the beginning, but once you kind of get into it, it's really cool. And there's only one scene where I felt like they were kind of slowed down because of that, when they needed a setting shot, and so he sets up security cameras in his brother's house, just so you can see like him interacting with his brother without needing a phone.
Okay, yeah. They had to find some way to get it in there.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can kind of forgive it at a certain point for having to stick to its premise.
And it's just a great... I don't want to say thriller, because it's more mystery. But I saw it came out like a week or two after A Simple Favor, which they're very similar stories, but Searching just does it so much better. There's so much heart in it. It's just so... And like I said before, this list is mainly movies that surprised me the most.
Yeah.
And this movie just really kind of blew me away. Like, I really had fun with this film.
I've seen it pop up in a few people's best of list. I should probably just go watch at some point.
I recommend it.
Yeah, I do need to check it out.
Clearly,
Because it's literally in your top 5.
What's your number 5?
Bad Times at the El Royale.
Oh, I also saw this film.
I honestly had a very hard time putting together this list. I started off because I have an app called To Do Movies, which I go through, and every time I watch a movie, whether it's my first time seeing it or not, or if it's new or not, I check it off and I give it a star rating. And so I started with that app to kind of like look at the movies I saw this year and what got higher ratings for me. And it was a tough year because, as I will explain with my number 1, there's only really one movie this year that like really, really, really stuck with me, that I like absolutely loved and will probably continue to be one of my favorite movies for a long time.
It's also on my list.
Oh, good. As it should be. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Only one did that. A lot of the rest of them were either meh, or I was like, oh, I really enjoyed watching this, but it didn't stick with me. I mean, we talked about it a bit with the comic book movies too, where a lot of them were really well done and really good, but it's kind of meh. So I tried to focus on what stuff really did kind of linger with me, what stuff maybe want to go back and revisit or made me kind of like dwell on and think about. And so I picked Bad Times because it's a unique film.
Very unique.
I've never seen anything like it. I think it definitely has its flaws, and pacing wise, it's a little bit long, and there's some kind of slowish parts, but it's got a lot of really good twists and turns, some amazing performances, and I found it surprisingly emotionally affecting. I think that's another kind of like theme through a lot of the stuff I picked, just stuff that like kind of got to me emotionally because I'm a robot. And
I want to break through there one day, Chris.
I know you'll get through. I won't say what made me actually like kind of get emotionally affected by it.
I'll say it. Chris Hemsworth took his shirt off.
Well, I mean, that's Cameron.
You can talk about it. It's fine.
Erections do not count as personal growth.
We all know.
I mean, that's always.
I mean, it is growth.
it's growth of sorts. No, there is a sequence in the finale that really.
It's so good.
Really.
I didn't appreciate it until I could talk about it with someone.
Yeah, but it really got to me, and it's very clever. Drew Goddard, I think, is a really interesting filmmaker and writer. And for those who don't know, the basic concept is that there's a hotel. So it's like the mid 1960s, maybe like 1963, 64.
Yeah.
And there's a hotel that lives on the border between California and Nevada. So one half you can say it's California, and the other half's Nevada. And like there's like certain rules apply. Like you can gamble on the Nevada side and all this other stuff.
But you can drink. You can only drink in the California
Yeah,
side.
exactly. And basically a whole bunch of different people show up at this hotel at the same time. Some by happenstance, some by intent, and
also the hotel is like it's past its heyday.
Oh yeah, it's outside of its like real popularity point, and all the people kind of clash, and their stories interweave, and it's just very inventive. Yeah, no, I highly recommend it. It's a weird one, but it's I think worth a watch.
Yeah, I think so too. It's fun to watch. I think it's better with a group of people.
I think
like,
so.
Usually I'm very against, like, I'm very much a solo film watcher.
Yeah.
'Cause I hate distractions.
Yes.
But this is a fun one to, like, kind of have friends along. It's like, what just happened? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, and I saw it with a mostly empty theater. It's like a matinee showing or something like that. But also it's just really great performances. Jeff Bridges in that movie is unbelievable. I mean, he's always really good, but he's exceptional in this. Like, I think he's worthy of recognition, like awards recognition.
Okay.
I don't think he'll get it. I think the movie is just a little too out there, but I think he's fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
what is your number 4?
Crazy Rich Asians.
That was in my honorable mentions.
Okay, yeah.
Also amazing.
It's amazing, yeah. And again, it's a movie that I think it's sad to say that a movie that features an all-Asian cast would be considered groundbreaking because it hasn't happened since the Joy Luck Club back in like the 90s. But it is groundbreaking. But it is also just really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, it has an incredible soundtrack. The performances are great. It's genuinely funny. It's genuinely heartfelt. I think there are really good stakes in there that come from an emotional place, which can often be challenging to do. And it's kind of a rom-com, but it almost seems dismissive to fit into that category because there's so much going on. Constance Wu's incredible. Henry Golding had a good year this year. He was also in A Simple Favor, which
because he wasn't an actor before this year. I think people need to understand that this is the first year Henry Golding decided to be an actor,
and he's awesome. I've heard some people say that he can make a good Bond. I actually agree with that.
Fucking believable that he just now decided he wants to be an actor. Like, look at his IMDb page, and it's so funny because there's nothing on it.
No, there's nothing there, and he's just so charming, and oh my god, so much can be said for Michelle Yeoh in this movie. Like, her character is cruel out of necessity, but also you get where she's coming from and has a lot of heart. This movie made me cry.
Interesting.
Actually, hang on. Let me think about this. 1, 2. Okay, 3 of my 5 movies made me cry.
Okay. This one it's also like, I mean, I won't beat around the bush. We both come from fairly privileged households.
Yes.
And so kind of like we know a lot of these negative things, clearly not to this extreme. Like, we're not fucking millionaires on a podcast.
Yeah, we're not flying private jets.
Right.
We're like first class intercontinental.
I mean, private helicopters is different. Like, that's we can handle that.
I mean, do you know how long it takes me to get just like the 2 miles between your apartment and mine? I'm going to drive that?
No.
Oh,
Are you
hell
kidding
no.
me? No. I'm going to drive the 15 minutes to the closest helicopter.
Yes, absolutely.
But like, a lot of these stories I can relate to because I have people, or I know people from high school or from family that deal with a lot of this shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's real.
Yeah. I like that it addresses the kind of like the challenges of like coming from different socioeconomic backgrounds. And I think it approaches it from both sides too.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the whole point is to be more accepting, which should always be the goddamn point.
Yeah.
I was really impressed by this movie. I haven't watched it again, but I want to watch it again.
I watched it a second time on. No, I didn't, because I was always angry every time I flew. It's not on any airplane flights.
Really?
And that makes me very angry.
That's really disappointing.
Yeah.
It's a great airplane movie, and that's not a dismissal. Like, in my mind, a great airplane movie is same as a great iTunes movie. Like, the sort of movie you buy, you have on iTunes, because every once in a while, I'm just sit down and watch this, whether you're on a plane or on the road or at home. It's just a really well-made, fun film.
Yeah.
Yes. Go see it, girl.
My number 4, I've been raving about it all year, and I'm happy I can finally put it on my list. Thoroughbreds.
Okay, I still haven't seen it.
That's fine. No one did.
Yeah, I know you loved it, though.
I love this movie way more than I should. I think just because, like I said, this movie surprised me so much. Like, I went in with no expectations, and this movie was so weird. None of these fit my, like, typical criteria of film, and I think that says a lot about my 2018, was I just did a lot of experimenting with films.
Yeah.
And this one is just bizarre. It's, for people who don't know or don't remember, it's 2 high school girls kind of reignite their friendship after not being together for a few years. And they reignite it through the planning to murder one of their stepdads.
I love it.
And it's amazing. It's Anton Yelchin's last film. And so seeing him it just hurts a little bit to see it.
I had a moment the other day when I walked into a bar and there was a guy in front of me and he looked really similar to Anton Yelchin. And this is over in Beverly Hills. I had a moment like, is that Anton Yelchin? I'm like, oh wait, no, he's dead.
Oh, he's dead. And
it just made me so sad.
Yeah. But he's amazing in it. The 2 girls are amazing in it. One of them
it's Anya Taylor-Joy and Olivia Cooke, right?
Yes.
So Anya Taylor-Joy, who was in what's it called? The Witch.
Yes.
Which is really good. I watched it recently. It's really good. She's in that. She's also going to be in New Mutants whenever the fuck that comes out. And then Olivia Cooke was from Bates Motel, but also Me and Earl and the Dying Girl.
Oh, and also she's the main girl, and she's what's her face in. She's Artemis.
Oh, she's Artemis, right? Of course, yeah.
One, yeah.
Can't believe I forgot about that. Yeah, and they're both great actresses, really great actresses. Yeah, that's on my list of things to try and get caught up on.
It's very weird. Like, I have to emphasize, it's a weird movie. The main song in that is like, I can't really listen to it because it's that bizarre. Yeah, it's kind of just. It's not. I don't want to say it's a song. It's kind of just noises.
Is it the soundtrack? It's just kind of like weird noises.
Well, the soundtrack is fine. It's just the theme song.
Oh, okay.
The main song from the film is just like heavy breathing to a beat. It's kind of how I explain it.
It's like an ASMR remix.
Yes.
That sounds interesting.
But it's a fun, weird movie, and if you just want something just completely different, I'd check it out.
Okay, yeah, it's on my list of stuff to get caught up on, so I gotta go check that out.
I'll do my 3.
Yeah,
we did your 4 first. My 3 is Tully.
Okay, yeah.
I specifically picked movies that you hadn't seen.
I love it though. That's good. Yeah. It's Jason Reitman, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then with Charlize Theron, and she's a mother.
It's a movie. It sounds very depressing, but it's very funny and it's very good and it's incredibly heartfelt. It's a movie where Charlize Theron just has her 3rd child. Her first child is on the cusp of of puberty. Her middle child has a mental disorder.
Oh my God.
And she just had a 3rd baby.
Yeah.
And she's having severe postpartum depression. Very severe. And so she hires a night nanny, which I did not realize was a thing.
Oh, someone just like basically while she's sleeping, someone to take care of the baby?
Yeah. So the night nurse comes in at like 10 at night and then leaves in the morning. And that is played by Mackenzie Davis.
Okay, I was like...
who is just adorable.
I knew it was Mackenzie, and I was like, it's not Mackenzie Crook, because that's the weird-looking dude from Pirates of the Caribbean / The Office. But yes, Mackenzie Davis. Oh yeah, she was...
she's in *Halt and Catch Fire*, which is another great series that
I've heard really good things about that, yeah. And she's also... she was in *Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, she was the
Martian.
The prostitute. Oh, yeah, she was in The Martian.
Yeah, she's the Martian. Like, she's one of the...
Martian in Blade Runner.
That's Total Recall.
Yes.
Yeah, she plays the prostitute in... seems like such a dismissive way of describing her
I
character.
know.
'Cause she's amazing.
But that's what she was.
Wait, was the Blade Runner 2049 was last year, right?
Yeah, that was 2017.
Okay. Fuck, that movie's good. Again, I need to go back and rewatch that, but whew, gotta dig in.
Yeah, Tully is just so good and weird. Again, it's something that I'd never watch again. I mean, I will watch it, but it's not something that like I'm going out of my way to look for.
Yeah.
And I remember when the movie ended, I just called my mom immediately and just like, I'm so sorry. Because it's like the ending is a fucking deep cut.
Yeah.
It's staying and it stung and it's still with me.
Oh, interesting.
And it's good.
Okay.
It's such a good movie.
All right, I gotta go watch. See, I love this. This is really interesting, actually, because I think at the end of it, my list is probably gonna be more mainstream, and yours is gonna be more obscure.
Well, it's because again, it's movies that surprised
you.
me.
Yeah. No, I gotta go see it.
With your 3,
Infinity War. We've already talked about it, but again, it's one that stuck with me.
Also in my honorable mentions.
Yeah, I mean it for obvious reasons. It has inclusion because it really stuck with me. It got me to go see it multiple times in theaters. It's one I'm willing to go back and watch again. That's kind of something that's a bit of a theme with all these. Like they hang with me a little bit. But yeah, it's great. So
yeah,
your number 2.
My number 2 is, I think your number 1 is Love, Simon.
Okay, yeah, it is my number 1. So we'll get to that at the end there. My number 2 is Incredibles 2.
Yep.
So
amazing film.
Yes.
So good.
Again, we've already talked about it.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think it's very sweet and sincere, and it's just tons of fun. So
my number 1 is Spider-Man. So
okay.
And I think it's just because it's so fresh for me.
Yeah.
That like it's all I've been talking about. It's all I've been thinking about.
Yeah.
I literally just spent like a week just drawing Spider-Gwen over and over again.
They're really good. You've been posting some of them. They're really, really
thank
awesome. She's such a fantastic character. She's got a great design.
It's just such a good design.
Haley Steinfeld.
Exactly. Exactly.
Another banner year for another actor.
But let's talk about Love, Simon for a little bit.
You talk about Love, Simon first.
Because it's such a good film.
I think, yes.
It takes the tropes of high school film, of high school romance films, and just kind of brings it into a new generation. I feel like all high school rom-coms or romance films are still based off of the 80s format.
A little bit, yeah.
With 16 Candles and everything. And this one is just like, no, that doesn't work. That's not how it works anymore.
Yeah, they're kind of based off 16 Candles with less sexual assault.
Yeah. That's a very good point. But what's great about the film is the main character, I forgot everyone's name. Hold on.
Nick Robinson's the actor.
Yes.
But Simon?
Yeah, that's his name, Simon. Because Blue, I thought Simon was the guy he was talking to. Like, no, that's Blue.
Yeah.
Simon, he still has the mindset of an 80s romance.
Yeah.
Like he still wants the meet cute moment. He still wants the kind of the mystery and the romance of it all. But that's not what's happening.
No.
So he's every turn is wrong because he's expecting the grand announcement like he's expecting the boom box or something like that.
Yeah, and they actually do that moment and it goes disastrously, which is also fun.
God, that movie's just so warm, and I also watched it 2 times in theaters and once on the plane. Yeah. And just like I have a problem with crying on planes now because whenever I watch a movie, I just get very emotional.
I think, I don't know, maybe it's just like, did 2018 just break us so bad that we're just like more... Okay, we're going to go a little deep here. Do you ever have moments where you're just like, man, I wish I would cry right now? Like, you're not particularly sad, but like you just feel like emotionally like constipated and you just need to like get it out?
Not to that extreme.
Okay, maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I should go back to seeing a therapist.
Maybe you should go see a therapist.
Yeah, I probably should. But no, like I have those moments sometimes. I feel like I said, emotionally constipated, and it's just like I feel like I'm feeling a lot. I need to get it out there, and so I have certain movies that I go to that I know will make me cry. Love, Simon's one of them.
Yeah.
Wall-E, Up, Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. Every fucking time. Certain episodes of Futurama.
Whenever you hear talk, oh god,
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park.
But actually, that
one's just not fair.
The one that actually really, really gets me is Luck of the Friarish.
Oh, that one's so god, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm pretty close to my brother, and so like brother stories. Big Hero 6 will do that to me too, where it's just like it's, you know, it's like we butt heads. We butt heads sometimes, but it's like I watched that episode. I'm just like, I think I'll call Wes.
Yeah, I was when I was at the hotel for my friend's wedding. I was flipping through channels and nothing was really on.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, Futurama's on, great. And of course, it's fucking Jurassic Park. And I'm like, are you? I think I like yelled in my room, like, are you fucking kidding me?
And then no one heard you because no one else was staying in that hotel.
No, that was one of the worst hotels experience. Trey, I know you're listening to this. Why did you pick that hotel for us, Trey? That place was weird and decrepit. It wasn't decrepit.
It sounded terrible though. But no, like I think with Love, Simon, our friend Shane, I think, put it best. He called it a B+ movie with A+ touches. Mm-hmm. I think it's a really good way of describing it because it's I guess kind of like we were saying with Black Panther, where there's not a lot happening. There's not so much super originality going on there. Like structurally, it kind of fits a lot of molds we've seen before. Mm-hmm. But what's actually happening is a lot different. So they'll take things and turn it on its head, and also just the fact that it's a really pleasant, upbeat rom-com with gay leads is huge. And I've talked about this before, where something like Call Me by Your Name is great because it's set in the 1980s, it's pre-AIDS, and also it just, even though that was just being gay was a stigma at the time, it's not about the stigma, which is very progressive, and it's not a coming out story in a lot of ways, whereas this is. But I think it handles it in a much more pleasant way because it doesn't fit the same mold of like, oh, there's someone basically telling you, no, you can't do this. I don't know. I think for me, it hits the beats of stuff that I just love in a movie in terms of it's really fun and funny and pleasant, but it also has genuine moments of heart and drama. Has an amazing soundtrack.
Yes.
So over the break, I read the book that it's based off of, which it's mostly pretty similar, actually. Okay. And it's also just a really good book.
When was the book written?
I don't know. I don't know, actually. But it's good. The book is called Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda. Mm-hmm. And you can see where they translate a lot of elements. So in the book, they talk a lot about music. Obviously, there's no music playing. It's a fucking book.
Yeah.
But it's different music in the movie, but it's still an incredible soundtrack. I was listening to it as I was driving back down from NorCal over Christmas. And so it's just like, okay. It's a beautiful... It's just a really fun movie. It's really fun and funny. And yeah, I saw it twice in theaters. And I think I mentioned this before, but the second time I saw it, I actually got to go to a screening on the Fox lot.
Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did talk about
and
this.
Greg Berlanti, who was the director, but he's also very famous for doing all the Arrowverse stuff. Mm-hmm. He was there and he was doing Q&A. And I basically asked him a question so I could make my comment, which was that, I love this movie because, it's very accessible. And it's a movie people can see. And the way I put it was like, my parents aren't going to go watch Call Me by Your Name, but they might end up seeing Love, Simon. They might understand me better as a result. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of the reason why I love it so much is that I think of all of the movies that I've seen that like speak to the experience of being gay, this was most relevant to me. I think one is like the character and I come from very similar backgrounds. Like, again, like we talked about before, like, upper middle class parents, very supportive. Mm-hmm. The whole family is really like fun and sweet and supportive and everything. And as all my friends, and it's just like the movie is kind of about how hard it is to come out when there are no like obvious barriers other than yourself. Yeah. Like it's his own just fear of change and of, kind of having to announce who he is that makes it tough. And also like you were talking about how he has the mindset of like an 80s rom-com sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And that's something that was always tough for me too, is that like a lot of my life was very just hetero. Like that's all I ever knew. I was like the first of all my friends to come out. I only really got gay friends when I moved to LA. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of my mind still stems from like a very like Leave It to Beaver sort of like traditional family, like mom, dad, 2 kids, golden retriever, white picket fence. Mm-hmm. And you have this idea of these moments that should happen in your life. And like for me, none of those ever happened. And I can see that something like Simon's struggling with is that he has this mindset of like, oh, he wants to have like the meet cute and all these kind of traditional romantic story ideas or like moments in his life. Mm-hmm. And so as I'm watching it, there's the sort of acknowledgement of kind of like the sadness in some ways of seeing a character getting to experience things that I never got to, will never get to experience.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I think that's part of the reason it's like, so just emotional fucking gut punch. And I don't know how much I've talked about in the podcast, but like when I came out to my folks, it was okay. Better than some, worse than a lot.
Yeah.
But, you know, part of it too is just, again, watching a situation where the parents were just like, oh yeah, like it's sweet. You're you know, and really getting it and being like, fuck, that would have been cool. But also like, but at the same time appreciating the relationship I do have with my parents now after having gone through all that. And so it's like, I guess for me, the film is very bittersweet. And that's why I like it so much. Because in its bittersweetness, it feels real. Because like life is mostly kind of bittersweet like that. Like life is both ridiculous and funny and just tough and depressing. And it kind of hits all those beats.
Yeah.
I don't have to go to therapy anymore. I did it all here.
Welcome to the podcast, everybody. Welcome to Chris Therapy Talk. But no, I mean, I've talked about, I don't think I've talked about it on the podcast, but I've talked about it a lot outside of that. But kind of how the idea of the meet cute is not ruining, but is the biggest hindrance to dating in 2018, 2019.
Yeah, I think it's true.
Because we have, I mean, I've definitely felt this with a lot of dating apps where it's like it doesn't feel like it could be a real connection because you don't have that cute moment.
Yeah.
And there's even times when like scrolling through girls' pages and in there it's like we'll tell our parents we met somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because even if you don't have the meet cute moment, you still want that story.
I think that's the thing is that we're you know, pretty much almost every single story we're exposed to through television, film, books, everything has this romantic element to it as a subplot or a primary plot. And so we're so used to have like romance is a story, but it's not. It's living a life.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't have necessarily like that really adorable meet cute moment. Or maybe you do have that moment and then guess what? It doesn't work out because you're not compatible people.
Yeah.
But no, I see that all the time too of like, oh yeah, like, yeah, we'll tell our parents we met at a bar. I'm like, I will tell my parents we met on Grindr. I don't care.
There was a great quote that I found that quick tangent. I binged all of Series of Unfortunate Events in a day.
Oh, the final season?
Because it's so good.
I need to watch it.
And it just like almost doubled my list of favorite quotes. But there's one. It wasn't from the series, but I was looking up like other things that the Lemony Snicket had said. And one of them is, love can change a person the way a parent can change a baby, awkwardly and often with a great deal of mess.
Oh.
And I feel like that is exactly what
that's really sweet.
The point we're trying to get across. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I think life isn't clean. It's often messy. And I think the stories and so like the movies that kind of spoke to me a lot this year had that element to it a little bit.
Oh yeah.
You know, I think that's true of Crazy Rich Asians. I think it's true of Incredibles 2. It's very, very true of Love, Simon. You know, it's just it's finding that
all of these. My list is also all like kind of broken households. Searching as the daughter runs away or goes missing. Thoroughbreds, they're trying to kill the parent.
Yeah.
Tully is just a completely fucked up household.
Yeah.
Love, Simon, and then Spider-Man's the exception.
But I mean, you know, Spider-Man 2 is about how life is messy, right? You know, it's like he's given the opportunity to go to this like really awesome boarding school, but for him, it just makes him feel more alone.
And that was exactly what I went through.
Yeah.
I don't know if your parents had also planned your every minute of life until you're 18. But when I left elementary school, I left all of my friends behind to go to a private middle school.
Yeah.
Hated that.
Yeah.
And then in middle school, I hated it so much that in 5th grade, I tried to tank my grades.
Oh my God.
Just so I couldn't get in.
Tried to pull miles.
Yeah. And then in middle school, my 2 best friends were going to a different high school, and I wanted to go with them, but no, I had to go to Jesuit. And I mean, I tell a million stories about my high school experience. It was weird and crazy and amazing.
Yeah.
But I was also in the same boat of like those first like month or 2, I didn't have many friends.
Yeah.
I hated that school. It's like I definitely get that kind of tension between kid and parent of like,
yeah,
they're wanting the best for you. They're giving you everything, but you just can't see it yet.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like you know, parents want the best for you, but because they're not you, they're not living your life, there is conflict between what they think is the best for you, what you actually think is the best. I mean, that's actually relevant in a lot of the movies. Like, I think it's part of like Incredibles too, right? The kids really want to become superheroes, and the parents are like, no, it's illegal. We need to protect you. And it's finding that kind of balance. There's an element of that in Spider-Verse too. It's their kind of own version in Love, Simon. I know. I mean, that's just like a common thing of like, it's funny you said like, your parents planned out like your first 18 years. Like, my parents didn't do that. They didn't like plan out what my life was going to look like, but they had an idea of what my life would look like in the future. That was actually like the crux of the conflict around me coming out. It wasn't they had a problem with me being gay. It was that they had an idea of what my life was going to be, and I was basically like, nope.
Yeah.
But the good thing that came out of that was it forced them to acknowledge that. And it forced me to like have to stand up for myself. Like, no, this is the life I want to live. And that would have been the case even if I wasn't gay, because I still want to move to LA and go into film and not be an accountant or an engineer like everyone else. And, it's just like part of growing up and becoming your own identity. And shit.
It's got deep.
We got real.
God damn it.
We got very real.
I'm going to cut this episode.
Yeah.
But yes, there's a few more that I want to talk about because making a top 5 is hard.
Yeah.
And I basically have two-ish more that I wanted to put on the list, but didn't quite speak. Not superhero films.
Yeah.
That didn't get due justice.
It's like like honorable mentions.
Yes.
Okay. It's like, what are your criteria for honorable mentions? Like just movies that you loved that didn't make it onto your list. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just do yours, then we'll do mine.
Okay.
So.
I only have 2.
Okay.
There's one that I watched when it came out, and you, I think, just watched recently. You did not like it as much as I did. It was 8th Grade.
Okay, well, that's not fair. I liked it.
Okay.
It's on my list of honorable mentions, actually.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, we'll talk about this real quick. So, okay, what were your thoughts on it?
I loved this movie. It was very real, and
yes.
While watching it,
yes,
I was in a ball of cringe, just like trying to get through it.
Yeah, I watched it from behind my fingers.
Yeah,
most of the time, it was like watching a horror movie in some ways.
Yeah, because the horror was our life.
Yeah,
Bo Burnham did such a good job capturing what middle school and early high school life is like.
Yeah,
to such a uncomfortable degree.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's also something like, don't watch this with anyone. Like, if you watch the movie, watch it alone.
Watch it by yourself. Do not watch it with someone you're dating. Do not watch it with a parent.
I was gonna say, worst of all, don't watch it with.
Do not watch it with a parent. No, watch it by yourself and just be okay with the fact that you're not okay watching it.
Yes, but don't ever don't let it simmer.
No,
like if you're watching it, watch it all.
Power through.
Yeah.
Like that's what I did. I rented it on iTunes, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna really watch this. I think took maybe one pause break because I knew if I got into that habit, I would never finish it. And look, it is amazing.
It's good.
Like, I think it's one of the best movies I saw this year, hands down. It just wasn't one of my favorite movies because it's so real and it's so hard to watch. Like, I could never watch it again.
Same.
Because it was so, it's not painful, but you're right, it's so cringy, but it perfectly captures.
So real.
Yeah, it perfectly captures how awkward it is to be like 13 years old.
Well, because we have so much media that shows kind of the comedic side of it.
My finger's on my face right now.
Yes, just thinking about it.
It's stressing me out thinking about it.
We have so much media that kind of plays up the comedic side of adolescence.
Yeah.
And especially this year, one of the biggest series for me was Big Mouth.
Oh,
which is literally the polar opposite of 8th Grade.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
But we have like we have that, and then we have obviously the show that Stranger Things. Where it's kind of all the guys going through that stuff. And it never dives into the real shit of middle school, and it's kids learning about sex.
Yeah, it's very, very real. I mean, the fact that like the lead actress, she's got acne all over her face. She's super awkward. Like, everyone in it is really, really awkward.
Yeah.
Like,
God, the male friend.
Oh, when they go to the chicken nugget dinner, and he's like, I just left this certificate here. And he does this thing with his arms, which only like 13-year-olds do. They don't know where to put their arms. He's like weirdly gesticulating, and he's like kind of robotic, but he's like trying so hard to be natural. And it's so fucking real.
Yeah, it hurts. And then when he like does a horrible Rick and Morty impression, and I'm like, fuck, that was me.
Oh my God, I know. I apologize to anyone who had to listen to my terrible Boss Nass impression in the year 1999.
But what's worse for me is in 8th grade, I tried to start a YouTube channel. I 100% tried to do what she did. I did 3 videos.
What were they about?
And I stopped.
What were they about?
Weirdly enough, I tried to be a newscaster.
So what news were you covering?
I was basically doing hand-me-down news. It's because there was a YouTuber that I still adore to this day, Phil DeFranco. And I've been watching his videos for 11 years now.
Okay.
Like he was one of the first YouTubers I found, and I'd basically take his stories and just re-edit them with me talking.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. But I would do, like, I tried to be like a funnier I tried to do like a kid's Jon Stewart kind of thing, where I just learned Photoshop, and so all the stories I would have like a twist, and I'd Photoshop something into the photo.
Oh my god, that is so you,
right?
It's so delightful. I mean, we're not far off from that now, if you think about it. It's just you and I talk about like comic book movie news, and try and mostly fail to be funny.
What I also can't handle is back then I go through my time hop. I had to delete time hop. Because
I can't. I don't even want to be reminded of stuff from a year ago. I'm like, look at that child.
Yeah.
Look at that sweet innocent lamb.
But I was so horrible on the rumor mill back then that comic book movie was my homepage at that point.
Okay, yeah, pretty much the same.
Anything was posted because back then nothing was confirmed.
Yeah,
it was just like people being like, you know what I think?
Yeah,
is this is happening, and I took that and took it as fact. And it would post on my Facebook like, Megan Fox is gonna play the new Catwoman.
Meow.
Yeah, basically. But no, I would try and like engage. I treated it as like early social media. I treated it as early Twitter, where I would try and engage with my Facebook friends.
Also, Twitter would have been around then, Cameron.
Yep.
Just saying.
I know, and I didn't use it.
I mean, no one did. No one does.
But I'd be like Megan Fox is playing the new Catwoman. What do you think about that? And no one responded.
No one, yeah. Oh, God, I love it, though.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I have like a super, I don't know, just my existence was super cringeworthy back then.
It is for everybody.
Okay, I got one good one. My 8th grade year, there's a girl I had a crush on. Look how times have changed. And I like got.
Do you want to change the pronouns just to make it more comfortable for you to talk about?
No, it's fine. I can talk about this. I like finally got up the courage to ask her out to like one of the last dances of the year, and she was like nice enough to say yes. And so we went, and I was like, "Oh, let's like go and like take a picture, that sort of stuff." And she was, to her credit, just like a total sweetheart and just like being nice and going along with it and like not being. She was a champ. She was absolutely awesome. Just given how fucking awkward I was.
I mean, if you want, I can talk about my awkward stories and just make you feel so much more comfortable.
I mean, that might help because like we had this like I had like that whole summer like I had this photo. I'm like, oh, like I like her. Like we're totally gonna date, blah blah. And it's like, of course, nothing ever came out of it. I look back and I'm like, oh my god, how fucking painful. It helps to talk about it.
So in 7th grade, we're just going to make this all about confession hour now.
I love it.
In 7th grade, there was a girl who I'm still friends with to this day, named Caitlin. And I had the biggest crush on her in middle school. And we had a school trip that all ended at Cece's Pizza.
Okay.
And I remember winning. I played like the crane game, and I won like a stuffed rose. And I remember giving it to her at a dance. But just you wait, because the next dance I had to one-up myself. And I went to Target with my little money that I had and went to the jewelry section, and I bought a necklace, not knowing anything. And it was like a $7 necklace that I thought was the most extreme thing.
Yeah. Oh my god, I just realized I did the same thing with that girl too. Over the summer, I bought her a necklace when I was in Hawaii. Clearly never gave it to her.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. My flirting back then was there was a girl named Heather who has since also come out of the closet.
Right on, Heather.
Yeah. And our the way we would flirt is I liked to draw back then, but I hated coloring, and she was great at that side of it. Aww. And so I would draw anime characters and hand them off to her in the middle of class, and she would color them, and then I'd like hang them up. It's like, Heather and I did this together.
That's actually really adorable, though.
Yeah.
That's actually like really sweet. That's not cringy.
No.
That's
everything with Caitlin was cringy.
Yeah. It's so much of it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. We just keep going on confession hour here. Over the break, I actually got a chance to catch up with my high school girlfriend from senior year.
Oh.
Which is really fun. I hadn't really seen her since we graduated.
I'm so close with my high school girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like, we still talk every break.
Yeah. Like, she's awesome and she's really funny. Like, it goes to show why I liked her back then, because she came up to me and she gives me a big hug. She's like, oh, like, I hear there's no chance of rekindling our old romance. And she follows it up with, I would never date someone in the film industry. You are awesome. You are funny. No, we were sitting down and like catching up, and I did have that moment where I had to explain, like, by the way, like, don't think you were like a beard or something for me and I was trying to hide. Like, I was genuinely liked you. I was just like also trying to like figure this shit out. Mm-hmm. But it was just even like navigating, like talking, like just the weird like tiptoeing into like sexual space that the two of us had, because none of us knew what we were doing, and I was super awkward.
Oh yeah.
She's like, oh, you always felt so confident back then. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
What did you see? You're talking about me.
Me, right? Me? No.
You weren't cheating on me with another Chris?
But it was genuinely like one of the most fun conversations I've had with someone recently.
Yeah.
It was amusing more than it was cringy to go back and reminisce.
Well, yeah, that's whenever I see my high school ex, we have the same. We always start on some other topic and it ends with us talking about how just disgusting we were in high school, because it was, prime Facebook days.
Yeah.
We both had computers at our school, and so we were separate schools. Mm-hmm. So we talked constantly. And if someone didn't respond to a Facebook message, you would write on their wall as kind of their punishment.
Oh,
and
so mean.
Oh, man. We went through, I guess this was 3 or 4 years ago, we went through everything we wrote on each other's wall.
Oh.
And it was the most like, I don't remember if you remember from The Office when Michael and what's-her-face first start dating. Holly first start dating, and they're that like disgusting, like can't stop touching each other kind of disgusting. And that's what we were. And like neither of us want to admit that, but that is 100% what we, and like virtually.
Yeah.
And it was so gross.
Oh my God.
We had the worst nicknames for each other.
What were they?
I was, oh God, this hurts to even say on air.
You can do it. I believe in you.
I was Mr. Monkey and she was Miss Penguin.
Aww.
Because those were our two favorite animals.
That's adorable.
Was it?
Yeah,
no, it's not.
It's kind of cute. It is kind of cute.
It was not. But yeah, I mean, this is what 8th grade will do to you. It'll bring up all of these memories.
It'll do this. I'd say like you watch it, have a friend watch it separately, and then get together and just do this exact thing. You just start like sharing all the cringy moments of your own life that it reminded you of.
Yeah.
But it's great though. Mm-hmm. It's fucking great.
I'll do my second honorable mention really quick because I feel like it might be on your list as well.
Okay.
Maybe not because you worked on this movie. Green Book.
Oh,
I put on my honorable mentions.
I almost put it on there.
I really love this movie. Again, it's something that I was not expecting.
Yeah.
It was so warm and charming. Mm-hmm. I was not ready for that.
It is. It's very appealing. It's warm, it's charming, it's funny. I think it's really good. I think we've talked about it a bit. There's some very valid criticisms around it.
Yeah.
But I think it was made with good intentions, and I think that carries through.
Yeah. And it's great. Everyone should go watch that.
It's
a nice movie.
It's a really pleasant movie. Yeah, it's kind of like the movie that's definitely designed for like old white people to like.
I was gonna say like if you want to appease your parents by picking the movie, pick this one.
Yeah, it's designed for old white people, but also maybe they're the people who should be seeing it.
Yeah,
that's how I think about it.
Mm-hmm. And then my last movie for the 11th year in a row, Speed Racer still makes the list.
I was actually talking to someone recently about Speed Racer, how it's like, it's either a 1 or a 5.
And it's a fucking 6.
But you don't know where it is. It goes from moment to moment. So I think here's what I said about Speed Racer. The acting's actually really good. The actors always knew the tone. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the directors didn't.
Yes, whenever Sprite was on screen.
Yes, it gets overly kiddie at some point, and I would love to see someone go through and do an edit that cuts all that stuff out.
Me too.
Yeah. Because I think in that point it becomes too obviously like self-aware, and when it's just kind of like simmering in the background of the self-awareness, then it works.
Yeah,
but that movie is visually spectacular.
It's so pretty.
Also, Michael Giacchino, great score.
That's right.
Listen to it all the time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Speed Racer again, number 1 on my list. Somehow tops the list every year.
Every year, it's on the honorable mentions. Okay, I have 4 honorable mentions, one of them which is 8th grade, before I talked about it. And like I'd say the thing about these 3 movies is they are all incredibly well made. They just weren't movies that are necessarily like fell into my favorites categories. I didn't love them, but I think they are incredibly representative of like their genre of their style of filmmaking. So one is Roma,
Of course.
which I've talked about before, that I think it's probably the best movie I've seen this year, if not one of my personal favorites, but it is legitimately like a masterpiece. And from, I'm sure, Alfonso Cuarón's perspective, flawless. I was talking to someone recently about it. It's really, really fucking good. Yeah, I mean, it's just the craft of it's incredible. For similar reasons, Mission Impossible Fallout is on my list.
Okay. I was hesitant to put it on my list.
I came close. It almost took 5 for me. It's
so good.
It's really, really good. It's someone who, it's made by filmmakers, so primarily Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise, who've worked together a lot over the last like decade, who really know what they're doing. And I think Tom Cruise is an insane person.
Yes.
But I think he's also a very competent filmmaker. And I think he knows what he's doing in terms of making movies.
I think he is just trying to find the most creative way to die.
I think so. I think he is trying to find a way to get paid to kill himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like that's what he wants to be known for. Is like.
Yeah. I mean, if you were him, that's the best way to go.
Like, did you guys hear about Tom Cruise?
Yeah, because like the older he gets, the harder it is to do the things that he loves. So obviously, he would totally want to go out like falling off of a helicopter.
I heard he got in a fight with a shark, but then like a kraken came and ate him.
I think he's going to finally find a way to make a movie in space, and then like something's going to go wrong. Like a hatch is actually going to get open. He's going to get sucked into space, and he's just going to be floating.
As he's like, keep filming, keep filming.
Yeah. He wants to become a literal star, just like orbiting around the planet. But I mean, Fallout.
Don't you turn that goddamn camera off.
Keep rolling. We got this. It's going to be gold. I mean, that movie, it's incredibly well made. I think if there's one weakness is that you kind of have to see Rogue Nation first, because it really does follow on from Rogue Nation.
Yeah.
But I mean, just the approach to filmmaking they have, I'd say if you're gonna go watch it, and then also there's like 2 or 3 Empire movie podcasts talking about it. Go listen to those, because they're just some super long interviews with Christopher McQuarrie, and he explains just like the level of detail they went into to make this sort of stuff, and how a lot of it's improvised, which is crazy to think about them like making up as they go this action movie. But it's really, really good. And the last one I have is Paddington 2.
Of course. It's delightful.
It is one of the most charming films ever made.
There's a girl in my boxing class, in my 8 o'clock class with me every day, who loves this film. So, like almost every day I see her, she talks about Paddington.
Yeah. How do I describe it? I feel like it is both a 3-star film and also a film that has like 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, and those are both accurate. Like, it's not amazing or exceptional in what it does, but it is just incredibly sweet and charming and sincere. I actually just read an article recently basically arguing, why can't something like Paddington 2 get nominated for Best Picture?
It's a great question.
Because I mean, it's not, on the like the technical achievement level of Roma. It's not that sort of like really intricate, granular, huge filmmaking scale with this very like deep story. It's just like really pleasant.
Yeah, and it's crazy that still has so much attention. When we got a little Winnie the Pooh movie this year that no one has talked about.
It's fine.
We also got a Winnie the Pooh movie last year that also no one is talking about.
What was the one last year? Was it the animated one?
No, it was the Christopher Robin movie.
Well, that was this year. Well, in 2018 we got Christopher Robin.
No, that was the Ewan McGregor one. There was one last year with Donald Gleason.
They both came out last year. They both came out in 2018.
I don't think. No, I think that unless I'm no, because the first one came out end of 2017. Unless that was a limited release.
Goodbye. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yes, Goodbye Christopher Robin, yeah.
Yes. Because that movie is about
writing Winnie the Pooh.
I've heard it's actually like really kind of dark and heavy.
Yeah, because it's him dealing with PTSD.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. We did get 2 of them. Christopher Robin was fun.
Because was it also that year we got writing Scrooge? What movie was that? It starred...
Oh, The Man Who Invented Christmas?
Yes.
With Dan Stevens?
Yes.
I think that was also 2017. That was 2017. Yeah, never saw it. Heard it was fine.
I want to see both of them.
Yeah, heard it was fine. But no, I think like go watch Paddington 1 and 2. I know the first one's on Netflix. Maybe the second one is now. They are just like the most pleasant, heartwarming films you'll ever see.
Yes.
And they're, especially the second one, gets kind of like Wes Anderson-esque. Like Paddington accidentally washes all the prison uniforms because he randomly goes to prison in the second one.
Of course.
With like a red sock, and so they all come out pink.
They took Paddington off Netflix. Maybe it's on Hulu.
Are they worth owning? I guess I think they're worth owning. They're good.
I mean,
they're great
they're,
iTunes movies.
they're good if you have family. If you have younger family members, it's always just like nice to have on hand.
Yeah. But yeah, those are my honorable mentions. So, and then were there any movies this year that you missed that you want to try and catch up on? Like you're going for it, like you got to catch up on these movies.
Yes, our almost bat plugs.
Yeah.
I have a handful that I didn't get to see that are supposed to be amazing. The top of my list is kind of the kind of top two of my list are kind of weird ones. Upgrade is my number one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which has been pitched to me. People have been telling me to watch it all year. But someone recently pitched it as the better Venom movie.
I've heard it called that, yeah.
It was Weekly Planet called it that.
Yes, they called it that, yeah.
So I want to see Upgrade. Mandy, which is the new Nicolas Cage film, I've heard is just very bizarre. And again, it's getting a lot of praise, and so I'm going to go check that out. The two kind of Oscar baity movies are Black Klansman.
Okay.
I had a lot of hype behind it, and all my friends who saw it said it was unbelievable. I want to see that. And then You Were Never Really Here is kind of Amazon's big movie of this year. I want to see that. And then my last one is kind of a weird pick. It's a Japanese film called Shoplifters.
You were telling me a bit about this.
And it's about a family of kind of petty thieves and cons who find an orphan girl and try to adopt her. But in order to go through the legal process, kind of all of their family secrets are coming out.
Okay.
And so it's kind of the fight of like, how do we protect this girl while still doing what we do?
Oh, interesting.
And when I first pitched it, it sounded like a comedy, but it's supposed to be very like heartwarming.
It sounds like it's set up for a comedy,
film.
but yeah, that sounds really cool actually. Oh, look at you with your fancy foreign language films.
Yeah, I mean, Japanese, I can handle that. It's live action, too. I don't know if it's a Japanese live action film.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Cameron,
nothing like Wolf Children.
You might need to slow down a little bit here.
I think
you might be trying to take on too much at the same time.
I absolutely am.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Wolf Children?
I think you told me about it.
It's great.
It's
very emotional.
It sounded fucking weird.
It's about a girl who falls in love with a werewolf.
That's the one, yeah. No, I think we've had a long conversation about this movie once before.
But the wolf pups, Chris.
I get it.
The wolf pups.
I get it. There are wolf pups. There are dogs.
How does a human woman handle raising two werewolf children?
I don't know.
No one does.
I don't want to think of the
Chris,
mechanics of that. I just don't even want to think about it. All right.
What's on your?
I have a few. Yes, like a few kind of Oscar baity films that I never saw. Boy Erased.
Yes, I also really want to see that
which
one.
was really intense. Vox Lux.
I heard that was very weird.
I read the script. That's why I want to see it.
Okay.
I was an intern at the production company that made it. And so I read the script, and especially the opening is very, very weird. So I'm really curious how it came out. So that's one. I never saw Isle of Dogs.
Really?
And I really wanted to.
It's delightful.
Yeah, because the Grand Budapest Hotel is... It's a delightful episode. It's a delightful day. The Grand Budapest Hotel is one of my favorite movies. But I haven't seen most of Wes Anderson's work.
Okay.
I've actually only seen that in Moonrise Kingdom.
Was it you that was trying to watch them in reverse?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, fuck. I'm going to break... I guess I can still watch Isle of Dogs and have it work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Wes Anderson would appreciate watching his oeuvre in reverse. Isle of Dogs. Have you ever heard of The Death of Stalin?
I have.
It's a comedy about Stalin, and it's made by Armando Iannucci, who most people would know him from being the creator of Veep, which is one of the funniest fucking shows I've ever seen in my entire life. And then he also did The Thick of It / In the Loop with Peter Capaldi, which was kind of like a precursor to Veep. But that's about an employee in, I think it's maybe British, maybe Scottish government. But Peter Capaldi plays this. I think it's like not Ian Malcolm. That's fucking Jurassic Park. Malcolm something, but he plays like this hard swearing, just abrasive guy. And I've seen clips from it, and there's some very creative swearing in that. But I've heard Death of Stalin's good. Never saw Mamma Mia. Here we go again,
Chris.
Which I need to go watch.
Chris, I've seen that twice.
And how much I talked about that I love the title, and I haven't seen it. It's atrocious. I never saw Blockers, which I heard was actually a really good.
I almost put
a really
that
good
in
big studio comedy.
Yes, I almost put that in my in my honorable mentions, just because it like that and Game Night were surprising comedies.
Game Night was good. I liked Game Night a lot. Yeah. So that's on there, and then 2 documentaries. Won't You Be My Neighbor?
You never saw that?
Never saw it. I need to.
I also almost put that in my honorable
I've heard it's
mentions.
amazing.
Yeah.
And then 3 Identical Strangers.
Okay, that
Which I also heard
was
was really good. Yeah. I heard a lot of these movies because when RBG came out, I was like helping with publicity a little bit on it, and so I read a lot of articles about the summer of docs, and those are the 3 that everyone always talked about, and I still haven't seen those, and I need to. So
I just saw On the Basis of Sex. We'll talk about that off air.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. Go see that, guys. It's good. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She's a badass.
Yes, but I think that's gonna wrap it up.
Yes, for this epic 2-parter 2018 recap.
Yes.
But yeah, we would love to know what some of your guys' favorite movies were of this last year and what you're looking forward to in 2019.
Yeah.
So we are at Timm Talk Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Gmail. And I am at Lordifer on Instagram and Twitter.
If you want to see my art, you can find that at Cameron.Dexter. If you want to see my face, you can find that at CamDexter_adventures. And I'm about to go to the parks, so get ready for more Disney photos.
Yeah, more Disney.
Yes, I'm not blacked out anymore.
He's finally conscious again.
I'm finally conscious. I stopped drinking. I'm not going to explain it. They
Good
can
for
figure
you.
that out on their own.
Yeah, good for you.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, thanks, everyone. Bye.